Okay. Hmm. All right. Come on. Going slow. Internet is just okay. Slow. All right. Let me share my screen. Please, family. One screen. Okay, it's finally there. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so where we left off last time we studied was the fact that 24,000 people died, along with some of the chief leaders of the house of Israel, because of this idea of joining themselves to Baal Peor. We know that the word Baal means to be Lord, which is the word in which that in particular idol is continuing through time. It's not over. It's not over. The reason why this story is mentioned to us because the Most High wants us to remember it. He wants us to remember what happened to the children of Israel. And so where we left off is that Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, and this is what Yahweh said to Moshe after Pinchas had killed, somebody wants to get in, let me let them in right quick. Eleazar's son, Pinchas, killed. He got full of zeal and he killed that man, Zimri, which is my song, and this young woman by the name of Cosby, right? So he killed them. He speared them right inside of their tent. And so the plague was stopped. And therefore, Yahweh said to Moshe, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon the Kohen, has deflected my anger from the people of Israel by being as zealous as I am. Okay. Because the Most High is definitely this. He's definitely zealous. And we'll talk more about that on Shabbat. But when he talks about him being zealous, everyone, what he's saying is not just he's jealous, but he's very okay, that's not cooperating. He's very protective. He's very protective over his family, and he's very protective of everything that can pose a threat to the family, right? And so we see that the children of Israel, and guess what? These are not this is not the first generation who's doing this. You know, they're dead. They're dead. Okay. So that right? So they're dead. So the Most High said that he's zealous. I'm zealous. And Pinchas reflected that. So I didn't destroy them in my own zeal. Yah's intention again was to completely destroy all Israel. Okay, not just a few of them. He was going to destroy the nation over this act. So how many times have we heard Yah say, move out the way, or it's over? How many times have he said that?
Like twice.
He said it a lot. He said it like, this is like the fifth time. This is the fifth time. You know, this is like the fifth time that the Most High said, move out the way. You know, so he said, I was going to destroy them all. Okay, I'm going to destroy them in my own zeal. So if it wasn't for Pinchas's zeal, if it wasn't for his protection, or the way that he thought of the Most High's laws, and what he thought about the relationship, and listen, it's not only what he thought about the laws, but it's also what he thought about Israel and what he thought about the family. So he was very protective of the family. And so a person is very protective of the family is going to have this very zealous attitude. And I think sometimes it gets misinterpreted that, you know, someone is being angry, or, you know, they're being a little too pushy, or they're tripping or whatever. It's not that. Is that they have this mechanism inside of them to want to protect, because they can see some things. They can see the danger and the outcome. If this man didn't respond in the manner that he did, you and I wouldn't be here today. So this is the reason why he's mentioned by name. A lot of times in scripture, we hear names that are mentioned, but these names sometimes have a very positive aspect, and sometimes it has a very negative aspect. In either situation, we can learn from both of them. Okay. And so verse number 12 says, therefore, I'm giving him a covenant of shalom. And I'm going to make this covenant with him and his descendants after him, that the office of the Kohen will be theirs forever. This is a problem for Christianity, because what they want to do is they want to replace, again, this office of being a priest forever. And it's going to be to his descendants forever. Okay. Which is still in the line of Aharon, because he's his grandson. That's who Pinchas is. Okay. So again, Yah guarantees that I'm going to give him my covenant of shalom, and that all his descendants after him shall have theirs forever. They're going to be able to be priests forever because of his zealous behavior on the behalf of his Elohim, that he made atonement for the people of Israel. So we see that atonement was made. Okay. And that word right there is at one mint, meaning to have something covered. That's what atonement is. Okay. It's not cooperating. So instead of it going through the high priest, instead of there being a sacrifice for this type of sin, okay, listen to me carefully. The sin in which they were doing, everyone, there is no sacrifice for what they've done. Okay. There's no sacrifice that can ever be given for someone who's going to join themselves to the god of what they call Baal. Internet is not working. There is no sacrifice. There's not going to be any forgiveness. Not for anybody who joins themselves to this God. This God comes in various forms. Okay. Right now, it's in Christianity. And he's named Lord. So when you hear someone call him that, what they're really saying is Baal. Okay. Let me see. Where's that scripture at where he says, I'm going to remove the names for a second. I want to show you guys something right quick. Anyone have any questions so far? Or any contributions or something that you picked up so far that maybe I didn't cover? Let's see here. Move. Okay, there it is, Hosea. So in the book of Hosea, let's go there, chapter number 2. Where is it at? Hosea. Okay. 2:16. The Most High, in context, the Most High is talking about when he brings Israel back to be his people. Verse number 16 says, on that day, says Yahweh, you will call me Ishi. That's what you're going to call me, which is my husband in Hebrew. You will no longer call me Baali. Okay, my master. You're not going to call me this. This is the names, more specifically singular, my master. What did the Christian church calling JC? What are they calling him?
Lord and Master.
My Lord and Master. This is what they're saying, that he's my master. That's what they're saying. Yah says, I will remove the names of Balalim from her mouth. Okay. So when Yah sent us into exile, he knows that these are going to be the names that are going to be in our mouths. Okay. And listen to what he says. They will never again be mentioned. Never by name, never again. This is the uncleanness that he's talking about in Ezekiel chapter number 36, where he talks about that you guys are unclean and you've been profaning my name. And so this is one of the things too. Like, for example, the name that we've been calling on, the Most High says that when you said that name, you were saying that there's some other God. You're saying that someone else existed. And there is no other name except for my name, right? So when we said that name, even though we don't say it anymore, the Most High says that you're unclean because this is the name that's been in your mouth. This is what you've said. So just by the sheer fact of us mentioning someone else's name besides his name, cause for us to be unclean. And also we profane the Most High when we spoke those names. So in essence, did the Most High send us here to do such a thing? I would say yes. He did send us here to do that, because what he's going to do is tell me, what's the purpose of Yah? What's the ultimate goal that he's going to get out of Israel? What is he using Israel for?
To spread his name.
Is to spread his name, but also to get glory. Right? To get glory in Israel and to get glory in the sight of the nations, because we profaned his name in the sight of the nations. And what he's going to do is he says, I'm going to be glorified. Okay, I'm going to be glorified. Pay attention to everything I've said to you. Okay, so that's the goal. The goal is to be glorified in the eyes of the nations. So he sent us here, and he knows that we're going to profane his name. He knows that we're going to call on these other names. He knows that, and that's going to be a distinguishing factor between those who know the Most High and those who don't. Okay, so I think there was I don't know exactly where it's at, but there was a time in the history of Israel where they killed the people who called on the name of another Elohim, where they asked them to remove everyone out of a certain location who were not the servants of Baal, and said, okay, make sure that nobody who follows Yahweh is inside of this place when they lock it up and burn it up. So they killed a whole bunch of people that were calling on the names of those the other gods. Okay, so Yah is going to literally do the same thing. He's testing us to see whether or not we're holding on to these other gods. And that's even by saying, hey, this is all I know. Well, if that's all you know, then that's all you know. If that's what your parents taught you, then you're going to bear the consequences of that, unless some type of way you figured that you could do something different. So chapter number 23 of the book of Exodus and verse number 13, the Most High tells us something. Okay. He says, in the midst of talking about the festivals, in the midst of talking about the Shabbat for the land, he says this, verse number 13, pay attention to everything I said to you. Do not invoke the names of other gods or even let them be heard crossing your lips. That's a command. Out of the midst between verse number 12, 6 days you're to work. That's the Shabbat. And then between number 14, 3 times a year, you are to observe a festival for me. So why is he telling them this? Why in the middle of the teaching, he decides, pay attention to everything I said to you, and don't invoke the names of other gods or let them be heard crossing your lips. You know why? Look in our Torah portion, they went to a festival. You see this? In our Torah portion, they went to a festival. Okay. So when the Most High is mentioning this about pay attention, meaning guard everything I've said to you and don't let the names of other gods, don't invoke the names of other gods and don't let them be heard crossing your lips. This is prior to the incident with Baal Peor. Okay. So what he's letting us know is that, listen, when you go to another festival, okay, you're going to other festivals, you're going to other gatherings with people. If you're there and you're not at my festival, you're at somebody else's. And when you're at that festival, guess what you're going to do? You're going to invoke their names. even by the sheer fact that you're there. You can't be there without mentioning the name of where you're at. And you can't go there without being able to speak about it to someone else. So he's saying when you're there, you're going to talk about other gods. And then if you're there, you're going to be speaking it, and it's going to be heard crossing your lips. So I don't want you talking about any other god. Therefore, you got to stay out of places like festivals that they mention their gods. For example, on December the 25th, they got this guy. It's not working. They got this guy that not only that the adults proclaim his name, but also the children. And it's been going on for generation to generation to generation. Okay. At their festivals. See, they got that holiday, Halloween, right? And they mention all different types of names of other gods. And that's what's going on, everyone. So the Most High is very serious about us invoking other names. I did want to share with you this idea of what Moab and them were trying to do. Okay. I think I left off with talking about this. This is in Psalms. Let me see, Psalms. This is Malachi. Okay, where's Psalms? Oh, let's just go right here. Going back to the character of Moab. I want to show you why Moab and the rest of these people have been trying to destroy us. Okay. So in the book of Psalms 83, this is a psalm of Asaph. Asaph is one of the Leviim. Okay. He asks the Most High, he says, don't remain silent, don't stay quiet, Elohim, or still, because here are your enemies. They're causing an uproar. Those who hate you are raising their heads. They're craftily conspiring against your people. They're consulting together. Okay. This is what's going on for these people. Okay. They're consulting together because they hate you. They're raising their heads. They're conspiring, consulting against you and against those you treasure. So when we think about us as a nation, and we think about how people are treating us, often we think that, they're just treating us this way because we're Black or because of this or that. No, it's a deeper hatred. The hatred goes to what they hate. They hate the Most High. Okay. That's who they hate. They hate him. That's who they hate. Okay. And that's the reason why they're taking out everything they're taking is on us. Okay. The ones that Yah treasures. So one of the reasons too is because they know that you and I are the people who are like a walking indictment to them. So when you're around them, you make them uncomfortable. They hate the Most High. And so if they hate him, then surely they hate you. I know hate is a very strong word, but we understand what it means from a Hebraic standpoint, meaning they're going to put some distance between you and them. Okay. They're putting distance between Elohim because they don't want Elohim to rule this earth. Okay. So you and I are the ones that the Most High treasures. He's chosen us as his people. So what they figure is, I'll let them say it. They say, come, let's wipe them out as a nation and let the name of Israel be remembered no more. That's the goal. That's the goal. So now you can see that our enemies, and you can see the enemies of the Most High, because they're his enemies and they're your enemies. Okay. And you have enemies not only that are part of your family, right? But also too, those who are not part of your family. We have enemies all over the place. They're surrounding you. Okay. It says with one mind, because they have one mind and have one purpose is to plot their schemes, just like Balak last week. He plotted against the children of Israel using Balaam to plot against them. And the covenant that they have made is against you. So they've made a covenant. Okay. And here it is. And now it's going to tell us who is responsible for this. Okay, the ones who want to wipe them out as a nation. First of all, it's our brother, Edom. He's Jacob's brother. Okay, the tents of Edom. So when we talk about Edom, it's literally talking about all of his descendants. Somebody tell me, why does Edom want to wipe Israel out?
Birthright.
Birthright. He wants his birthright that he feels that we stole from him when he forgot that their fathers sold it to us for some lentils, and he just thought it wasn't nothing to him. Okay. And he's always been actively working against us as a people. He was very instrumental in the destruction of Jerusalem. And we find in the book of Obadiah where the Most High condemns him, and also in the book of Malachi, where he says, these people, their habitation is a habitation of wickedness, and I will destroy them. Yah has a vendetta against these people right here. Edom is against, the Most High says, I hate Esau. And what he hates about him is that Esau hates him. So anybody who hates the Most High hates them, just like they hate him. The Most High is measure for measure. Not only is Edom part of it, but we got the Yishmaelim, which is from the family of Ishmael. Why? Why are the people the tents of the Yishmaelim? What do they have? What do they want? Why are they against Israel? Somebody tell me.
They're after the birthright as well.
They're after the birthright as well, because they believe that they're entitled to all Abraham's lands. Ishmael believes that. He feels like he was slighted. So what they did, and Edom and the Yishmaelim, they got together. Okay, they're together now, right? I'm gonna hit one other spot before we go here. Now look who's part of the group. From my father, and his father is Lot. See? So he's in a mix. The Hagrim, I don't know who they are yet. The Gaval, Ammon, this is Moab's brother. He's against the children of Israel. And he's against the Most High. Amalek is from Edom's family line. He's from the Most High. The Philistine, right, who's living in Zor, they're against the Most High. Then you have Ashur. Okay, a lot of us don't know about a lot of these people, but guess what? I'm trying to show you something. You better hear what the Most High is telling us tonight. These are family members. They too are allied with them to reinforce the descendants of Lot. And the descendants of Lot are Moab and Ammon. Those are his sons. You see? So do to them as you did to Minyan and Sisera and Yavin and Vadi Kishon. Yah did something to them, and they were destroyed, as is saying here. They were destroyed at Endor and became manure for the ground. And so he's reaching out and asking the Most High to destroy these people. And the Most High has already put a hit on him, on Edom. He got a hit on him, okay? So this relationship between, you guys, do you know when Edom and Ishmael got together? When did they get together? Do you remember? Edom and Ishmael came together when Edom, when he got slighted, okay? When he had his blessing taken from him, he went down to his uncle, and he took one of the daughters from his family and married her, and he stayed with them. So he developed this relationship based on marriage. So he bound himself to his uncle. He had nothing to lose. His brother just took his birthright. And so as they're together, they're having a conversation, okay, about what Jacob has done and what Israel has done. And so this plan has been going on literally for thousands of years. And guess what? It's still going on today. It's still going on today. These are the people that have been responsible for the ones who are behind the scenes trying to get rid of Israel and to wipe them out as a nation. You have to know who your enemies are. Your enemies, according to this text, are going to be the ones who are your family members and your relatives. Okay, so they're not far from you. Your enemies are close to you. Okay. I also wanted to bring out this idea of going back to what we talked about on Yom Shalishi. This idea of what Israel has been doing with their bodies. Okay. The word of Yahweh came to me. This is in the book of Ezekiel. He says, now, human being, are you prepared to judge? So chapter number 20 and chapter number 22, the Most High asks Ezekiel all the time, are you going to judge? Are you prepared to judge? Now they're in exile. So what judgment is he talking about? Are you prepared to judge the city drenched in blood? Well, she was already in exile. Then make her realize how disgusting all her practices are. Say that Yahweh Elohim says, city that sheds blood within yourself, thus speeding your own doom, and that makes idols of yourself that you defile. You are guilty because of the blood you have shed, which this is one of my things that I ask people all the time. They really celebrate the fact that Christ shed his blood for them, and we used to as well, thinking that innocent blood is something that the Most High wants, and that's not what he wants. Yah hates the shedding of innocent blood. He says, you're defiled by your idols that you have made. Okay, you have shortened your days, you have completed your years. Therefore, I have made you an object of scorn for the nations and a laughing stock for every country. Talking to Jerusalem. Okay, really talking about the inhabitants of the city. Those close by and those far off will taunt you. You have such a defiled reputation for such great disorder. The leaders of Israel and you are all use their power in order to shed blood. So you got a problem with it. In you, they make light of their fathers and mothers, telling us it's the behavior of the people who worship these other gods. When you worship another god, you're not going to have any respect for your fathers or your mother. Okay, they oppress foreigners. They wrong orphans and widows. This is huge for the Most High. You treat my holy things with contempt. You profane my Shabbats. In you, people gossip to the point of inciting bloodshed. And you are those who eat on the mountains. And in you, eating on the mountains means that they're worshiping another god. And when they talk about eating on the mountains, everyone, what they're talking about is what they would go to these mountains and they would have orgies. And they would have sexual things going on. And he says, in you, they commit lewd acts. It happened on the mountains. This is when they would have those secret, festivals and stuff like that. He says, in you, they commit incest. This was something we talked about earlier this week, where Moab is a product of incest, right? A mamzer is a bastard, but also can commit incest. So this is what they're doing in Yah's supposedly holy city. In you, they force themselves on women during their menstrual impurity. This is what men and women are doing. Okay. In you, one commits an abomination with his neighbor's wife, and another commits a lewd act by defiling his daughter-in-law. So when he talks about doing a lewd act and defiling his daughter-in-law, we see that a lot of this stuff that we're talking about incest, forcing themselves on a woman during her cycle, on committing with their neighbor's wife, committing lewd acts and defiling your daughter-in-law, and other humbles his sister, his own father's daughter. So a big part of the judgment that Most High is saying that I'm going to judge for is for sexual misconduct. The Most High is hard on sexual misconduct, like you see in our Torah portion this week. He's very hard on sexual misconduct, okay? And somebody tell me why. Why do you think the Most High is very, very hard and firm on sexual misconduct?
Maybe because when you have engaged in sexual misconduct, you're uniting yourself with someone and what is it? Ending the seed, so to speak.
Yes, you're cutting the seed off. What you said, you're binding yourself. You're joining to someone in a very impure way. Okay. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about sexual behavior because they feel uncomfortable talking about sexual behavior. Sexual behavior is a picture of intimacy with the Most High. Okay. When a man and a woman come together, they are unifying themselves, just like the Most High is one. They're becoming a Kad. Okay. That means that the soul of the man and the soul of the woman is intertwining with each other. And it represents a sacred, it's very sacred. Okay. You say, well, how can you prove that? Several places I can go. Okay. One place I do want to show you to give you the idea of what I'm talking about. Let's deal with the book of Hosea right quick. And I think it's in chapter number 3. It's something that needs to be addressed because we haven't been taught and we don't really fully understand it. And it's also, too, if you go outside of your normal behaviors like idolatry, it's harlotry, but it's also idolatry. Okay. Listen, it's like prostitution. Listen to this. Yahweh said to me, talking to Hosea, okay, meaning salvation, go once more and show love to this wife of yours who has been loved by her boyfriend, okay, to this adulteress, okay, just as Yahweh loves the people of Israel, even though they turn to other gods and they love raisin cakes offered to them. So before we go any further, let's talk about this love by her boyfriend. And he calls her an adulteress. And then he says, just as Yahweh loves the people of Israel. So Yah is telling Hosea to go and show love to this wife of yours that's been loved by her boyfriend. The boyfriend is the idol. Okay. The boyfriend is the one who, because they love idolatry, the boyfriend is the other God. Okay. So when he's talking about this, any type of misconduct, okay, because this is what she's doing. This man's wife was going out on him while she was living in his house and going to see different men and laying with them and coming home to him as if she wasn't. Okay. So Yah is saying, I love Israel like you love your wife. Go show love to this wife. Okay. Who has been loved by her boyfriend. Her God had loved her and she joined herself to this guy. Okay. So Israel is like a prostitute. Israel is a whore because Israel goes to other gods. So I brought her back for myself for 15 pieces of silver and 8 bushels of barley. Okay. So he's telling us that I had to go buy this woman back. I bought her, and he had to spend to go get his own wife. He had to pay money for his own wife to get her back. It doesn't matter if it was 10 shekels or 15 pieces or 25 pieces. It doesn't matter. He still had to spend money to get his own wife that rightly belonged to him. Then I told her, you are to remain in seclusion for a long time and be mine. Okay. Let me show you this. You, this wife, this whore like Israel, are not to be a prostitute. And you are not to be with any other man. I won't come in and have sex with you either. Because I'm going to put you in seclusion for a long time and you shall be mine. I don't want any intimacy with you because you've been messing with other men. Yah's telling Israel, I don't want intimacy with you because you've been messing with other gods. If you notice, he told us in Hosea chapter number 2 that you're no longer going to be calling me Balaim. You're not going to call me Baali. That's what we've been calling the Most High. My master, my Lord. No, I want you to call me your husband, you whore. You better hear what he's talking about. You see? That's what Israel is. And listen, to clarify, he says for Israel, verse number 4, is going to be in seclusion. I'm going to put you in seclusion for a long time. You're not going to have a king. You're not going to have a prince. You're not going to have a sacrifice. You're not going to have a standing stone. You're not going to have a ritual vest or household gods. You're not having nothing because you need to go into seclusion for a long time. Why a king? Why a prince? Why a sacrifice? Why a ritual vest that belongs to a priest? Why? Because these offices right here tell you that, listen, kings, princes, and sacrifice and standing stones and ritual vests all have to do with drawing near. Okay? Anytime they would bring a sacrifice to the Most High, he calls it a gift. And he calls it wayigash, meaning to draw near like a man would draw next to a woman for sexual behavior. Okay? A ritual vest, same thing. You're drawing near to me. You're having intimacy. Okay? We're having some type of relationship. Yah is our king. You're not going to have, I don't want any communication with you. So what I'm going to do is, because this is the way that I communicated with you. Okay? I communicated with you in these methods, but we're going to get rid of this because you're not going to have this no more. I don't want this around you no more. Okay? So these are pictures of intimacy. When a person was in a ritual vest, they were going to the Most High on your behalf and taking your gift to the Most High. This is the reason why he told us you can't come next to me when you're unclean. It's like a woman who is unclean and then her and her husband come to you. You can't do that. Even if you have sexual intercourse, you're supposed to go ahead and wash your bodies. You're not supposed to come to each other at certain times. You see? So he's saying that this is a form of communication. So sacrifice to the Most High is just like having sex. It's just like having sex. Remember, he said, when you bring that offering to me, it has to be clean. Do you remember he said it had to be perfect? Do you remember he said it can't have a blemish? It can't have nothing. It can't be nothing wrong with it. Because you're drawing near. You remember he said it has to be the kidneys, which is the emotions. Remember he said it had to be the liver, which is the weightiest organ that you have. The weight of it, the glory of it. You see? So what we don't understand is that the Most High is interested in being with us in a very intimate way. So when he calls us, I'm your husband, he's saying, I want to be intimate, but I'm going to put some space between us because I got to clean you up before you come back to me because you've been with too many other gods. The gods that you've been with, the gods in the New Testament, the gods you've been with is the Muslims. The gods that you've been with are some of these New Age gods. You've been calling the names of all these other gods. You've been calling the names of other people like they saved you. And you think that you're going to call on somebody else? It's like your wife. If I ever found a picture of another man in my wife's wallet, what would you think I would do? What do you think? Huh? What am I going to do to her?
There would be several things you could do to her. You could argue with her. You could take the picture down. You could put her out. Whatever.
She better hope. She never does that. That's all I'm going to tell you. Okay. Same thing goes for me. You know, I'm behind the scenes and I got a picture of another woman. You know, am I being faithful? Am I showing my fidelity? The Most High is concerned with that. Listen when he says, and afterwards, after Yah puts us in a seclusion for a long time, he says the people of Israel will repent and they will seek Yahweh, their Elohim, and David, their king. They will come trembling to Yahweh and his goodness in the Akhireth Hamayim, meaning in the last days. That's what's going to happen. But right now, so what is this telling us? Yah is telling us that because of your prostitution, I have put you in seclusion. That's what I've done. I put you in seclusion for a long time. But I know that after some time, okay, what's going to happen is that you're going to repent. You're going to shuv. You're going to turn back from that behavior and you're going to seek me. That's what you're going to seek. And you're going to seek David, their king. You're going to be looking for this relationship that you didn't have before. You're going to be looking for this communication. You're going to be looking for someone to go to Yah on your behalf. You're going to look for that. Okay. You're going to look for the priesthood that Yah set up in order to allow you to be able to draw near to the Most High so he can be intimate with you. That's the whole purpose of bringing a man and a woman together, is to have intimacy. You see? That's what it is. And you find that right here. I also want to touch a little bit on the book of Malachi in chapter number 3, verse number 6. Well, let's start in 5. No, let's start in 1. Yah tells us something. He says, look, I'm sending my messenger to clear the way before me. And the master whom you seek will suddenly come to his temple. Yes, the messenger of the covenant in whom you take such delight. Look, here he comes, says Yahweh Zavaoth. Okay. So they're asking, who is this messenger? Okay. In the book of Malachi, we find out that the actual priest is the messenger. Okay. And I want to show that to you. I think it's in chapter number 2, I think. Let me show you right quick so you won't get confused. The messenger that he's talking about, because the name of the book is Malachi, right? Malachi means my messenger. Here it is. You don't have to look too far for the messenger. Here's the messenger right here for us. So someone asks you, who's the messenger? You tell them. Verse number 6. The true Torah was in his mouth, talking about the priest. No dishonesty was found on his lips. Who? The priest. He walked with me in peace and uprightness and turned many away from sin. Who? The priest. A Kohen's lips should safeguard knowledge, and people should seek Torah from his mouth. Because why? He is the messenger of Yahweh Zavaoth. The only messenger that delivers the message of the Torah for the children of Israel is going to be the Kohanim. That's their job. And we're going to talk more about that on Shabbat in reference to our Torah portion. Okay. And so they shall seek the Torah from his mouth, because that's what the Most High told them to do, because he is the messenger of Yahweh Zavaoth. Okay. Interesting enough that they use the term, or he uses the term Yahweh Zavaoth. He's the messenger of Yahweh Zavaoth, meaning of Yahweh's armies. Okay. He says, but you have turned away from the path and you caused many to fail in the Torah. They're responsible. They should be keeping the Torah on their mouth. That's what he was telling them. But he said, but you've caused many to fail in the Torah. You corrupted the covenant of Lewi. So he has a covenant with Lewi, says Yahweh Zavaoth. Okay. And therefore, he says, therefore, I've turned, in turn, I've made you contemptible and vile before the people, all the people, because you didn't keep my ways, but you were partial in applying the Torah, which is a whole nother study about us not being able to be partial in it. He's telling them that this is what you did, and therefore, because you did this, you're going to bear the consequence of it. Okay. So in chapter number 3, to finish it out, he tells us that I'm going to send my messenger. That's who I'm going to send. Okay. Look, I'm sending my messenger. Oh, where'd it go? I'm sending my messenger to clear the way before me, whom you seek, and he will come to his temple. Now, doesn't it make sense? Yes, the messenger of the covenant in whom you take such delight. Look, here he comes, says Yahweh Zavaoth. But the question is who can endure the day when he comes? Who can stand when he appears? For he will be like a refiner's fire, like a soap maker's lye. So listen what he's saying. He will sit testing and purifying the silver. He will purify the sons of Lewi. Okay. So automatically you would think, well, that can't be the Kohanim because he's one of the sons of Lewi. You have to understand How many sons did Levi have?
12. Oh, Lewi.
Yeah, Levi.
3.
He had 3, and they were called the Merari family. We have the Gershoni family, and we have the Kohathi family. Okay. And out of the Kohathi family comes Aaron's line. So he says so they're going to be purifying these guys, the sons of Levi, meaning all of them who are doing the service in the tabernacle, refining them like gold and silver so that they can bring offerings to Yahweh uprightly. Okay. Then so you can't have anything in a temple. You can't have anything. These individuals who's supposed to be working in Yah's temple have to go through a time of testing and purification, so he can purify them to do the work, right? So they can be like gold and silver, so they can bring offerings to Yahweh uprightly. Okay. Then the offering of Yehuda and Yerushalayim will be pleasing to Yahweh. So there will be offerings as it was in the days of old, as in the years gone by. Then this is what the Most High said. Then I will approach for judgment. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to approach for judgment, and I will be quick witness against sorcerers, adulterers, perjurers, against those who take advantage of wage earners, widows, and orphans. Did we not just read about some of these things that we found in Ezekiel chapter number 22, where he says, are you ready to judge? Are you going to judge them? Remember he said that? Are you going to judge them, son of man? If you are, tell them that these are the things that are happening. So when they worship other gods, they're going through and seeking other counsel. They're going through sorcerers. When they're sleeping with their daughters and their daughters-in-laws and men with their father's wives and their neighbor's wives, they're committing adultery, and they're lying and being perjurers, shedding innocent blood and taking advantage of wage earners and widows and orphans, against those who rob the foreigner of his rights and don't fear me. So anyone who are doing any of these activities, the Most High said, they don't fear me. That's who I'm approaching for judgment, says Yahweh. And he says this because I, Yahweh, do not change, you sons of Yaakov will not be destroyed. And what he means by that is not that some of us won't be destroyed. He's literally saying that I'm going to destroy, but I'm not going to destroy all of you. And we can find that in the book of Jeremiah. He says, when I found him like a grape. And they say, don't destroy it because there's some juice left in this one. Don't destroy all of them because there's something good still in it. Okay. But that juice that's in us has to be something that Most High can identify. Okay. If there's no juice in a grape, it means it hasn't been taking up any of the water. And the Torah represents water and represents rain. So if the vine is not soaking it up, it means it's being resistant. It's not accepting it. Okay. He says, since the days of your forefathers, you've turned away from my laws, and you have not kept them. Return to me, and I will return to you, says Yahweh Zalov. But you ask him, what respect are we supposed to return? How are we supposed to get back to you? And then he goes on to talk about a person robbing the Most High in contributions. So what he's telling us, again, is that there's coming a time for the judgment, okay? There's coming a time for judgment for the sons and the daughters of Israel, okay? But we know this, and this is something we should consider. After everything that the Most High has said, because they're talking about there's no point in serving Yah in verse number 14, what good is it to obey his orders? You might say, well, this is written for them, so what does this have to do with us? This is the same attitude a lot of people have today, okay? And they're saying, why are we going to walk about as mourners before Yahweh Zavov? What good is it to do the things that he's asking us? Because everything he's asking us to do, we're walking about like we're mourners. We can't go out and celebrate with everybody else. We're not able to go to those festivals that Akika told us to stay away from because, wow, when are we supposed to have any fun? We're walking around like we're mourners, like somebody died. We don't have any happiness. We don't have no joy whatsoever, right? So he said these people consider the arrogant happy because everything you see that they're doing, they're walking around and jumping around and singing and dancing, and everybody's having a good time while you're sitting at home or while you're showing some restraint, like you're falling in line with the boundaries that the Most High set. You also are surprised and you're excited about what evildoers are doing because it seems like they're prospering. They don't follow Yah's laws, but everything that they're doing is working out for them. But we're unhappy. We've got to walk around as mourners. See? He says, but they put Elohim to the test. Nevertheless, they escape. This is what they say. Yah ain't did nothing to them. There is no judgment for them. And guess what the Most High says to the people that are listening to him and the people that are speaking about him? He says, then those who feared Yahweh spoke together. And Yahweh listened and he heard. Two different words that are being used right here. Okay? Two different words. Meaning it was one thing to give attention. Somebody's talking in another room. You can hear them talking, but are you paying attention to what they're saying? So, for example, I'm in a room and my children are talking in another room. I can hear they're talking, but am I going to listen? Am I listening? Am I giving heed to what's being said? Right. And then once I give heed to it and I direct so I can find out what they're saying, then now I'm hearing what they're saying, but I had to pay attention to it first. Okay. And then after I hear it, I can take a book and I can write down what I heard. And I can write a book to remember. Okay. This record book right here is called a book of remembrance called Zikaron. And a Zikaron comes from the Hebrew word Zakar. It means a memorial. So the Most High has a written book called a Zikaron, Sefer Zikaron, a scroll, not a book, a scroll, because there's a lot of scrolls in the heavenlies. And he writes his scroll as a Zikaron Sefer, and he's writing on it, and it's written in his presence. He's not writing, he's telling people what to write. He has somebody who's an amanuensis who's writing what you have said for those who feared Yahweh. Remember earlier he said, for those who didn't fear me. So when he's talking about, when we're talking, and he's talking about who feared me, who feared Yahweh and have respect for his name. Listen to this. Up here, didn't he just tell us that these people don't fear me? Didn't he just tell us that these individuals right here don't fear me? So the people that fear Yah are the people that don't do these things. They're the ones who are speaking against these things. They're the ones who are living in a total opposition to those things. So the ones who are speaking together, Yah heard them. He heard what they said. He gave attention to it. And he listened and he heard, and a scroll, a zikaron, a sefer was written in the presence of those, in his presence, for those who feared Yahweh and had respect for his name. Do you know how many people don't have respect for the Most High's name? Showing respect for the Most High's name is living a life that honors his name. Having respect for his name is not just to say, well, I'm not going to just say his name. That's one thing, but it's how you live your life. Having respect for his name, because Yah tells us, based on the words that he spoke, that identifies his character, don't misuse the widow and the foreigner. Don't commit adultery. Don't cross those lines, those boundaries that I've set. When we have respect for the Most High and his name, then you and I will stay within the parameters in which he set. Then he gives a promise, they will be mine. Who? Those who fear Yahweh will be mine, says Yahweh Zavaoth. Again, he's using Zavaoth because he's talking about in battle formation. I'm about to come and judge these people. Okay. He says, on the day when I compose my own special treasure, going back to Psalms, where remember it said that they're going after Yah's own special treasure. They're trying to destroy Yah's treasure, which is his people, the people that Yah loves. So Yah says, I'm going to compose my own special treasure. And so those of us who fear the Most High, Yah says that you will be his, and that he's going to do something with you and I. What he's going to do with us is in his time of Yah deciding who he's going to choose to be his own special treasure. You and I will have to be, when it's the time of composing the treasure, what is being used to compose or to purify anything that's worth anything? Gold, silver, precious stones, what's used? fire. On the day when I compose my own special treasure, they're going to be mine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Key verb, who serves. Then once again, you will see the difference between the righteous and the wicked, between the person who serves Elohim and the one who doesn't serve him. So how do we serve the Most High? We serve the Most High by the way that we live our lives. We don't disrespect his name. We don't commit adultery. We don't lie. We don't steal. We don't get ourselves involved in sorcery. We fear the Most High. We talk about the Most High. We speak about the Most High. We show respect for the Most High. And he says, this is what I'm going to do for them. Okay? Because the person who doesn't serve the Most High is a wicked person. That's the one who doesn't serve him is wicked. Anyone who doesn't serve the Most High is wicked. From Yahweh's perspective, not mine. Anybody that serves the Most High has to do it in a righteous way. So when they say that you can't be righteous, and they're saying you don't have the aptitude or you don't have the wherewithal and you don't have the brain power and you don't have the desire, you always have a propensity to be this evil and wicked person, that's a complete lie. And that's what we're seeing with Pinchas. We're seeing that he moved. He felt within himself. He moved within himself. He did that on his own account. The Most High didn't put that on him. That's something he felt within. He wanted to guard the sanctity of Yahweh's name. He wanted to protect not only the Most High, but he wanted to protect. He had a zeal for the Most High. He got fed up and tired of what he was seeing. There's always somebody in the group who said, that's enough. And we should adopt that same attitude that Pinchas had. When you see evil and you see somebody that's transgressing the Most High, you need to be able to call it out. That's what it is. And if they don't like it, so what? That's how I feel. We need a certain boldness about ourselves. That's what we need. And I know that we have it. You know, look at all of us. We all got pictures of lions. Why are we attracted to lions? Is it because the Most High said they're going to be like a lion, they're going to raise up, and who's going to be able to rouse him or stop him? You see? So that's what we need. We need to be more like Pinchas. We need to be more zealous for the Most High. And we'll talk more about that on Shabbat, if Yah is willing. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Anyone, any questions, contributions?
Good lesson. Toda Rabbah.
Toda Rabbah. Toda. Thank you so much. Lila told to each and every last one of you.